Hi, I'm Lori MacVittie, Distinguished Engineer and Chief Evangelist at F5, and we're here today again to talk about another item on our application delivery top 10 list, which, if you've listened in, you might know, but if you didn't, we put together this list based on multiple decades of experience delivering applications in clouds, on data centers, at the edge, on space stations and yachts and all sorts of exotic places. So what we wanted to do was give people the top 10 list of things that impede performance, availability, that just really disrupt application delivery as opposed to security, because somebody else has got that covered. So I brought back Joel Moses, who's going to pick one of his multiple titles to introduce himself before we talk about fault tolerance and resilience today. Joel?
All right, Lori, thank you. Joel Moses, CTO for Systems and Platforms today at F5. And yeah, the topic of the day, of course, is lack of fault tolerance and resilience, which is that's a mouthful. But what it really relates to, honestly, Lori, is the inability of some environments to properly understand how to gauge whether their application set is healthy. So being able to conduct not just a simple check of reachability to an application, but to be able to actually test to see whether the application is functioning properly. That is oftentimes the gate between whether an application can survive a fault or whether it fails entirely.
Oh yeah, this harkens back to the old days of health checks when people will just use a ping. Hey, well the
Yeah,
machine is up. Well, yeah, but was the application up? And they
right.
find out no, it had crashed.
Exactly. Or it's emitting failures, right?
Right,
Uh,
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times, I think customers don't understand that you really should be checking the health of your application from multiple locations, and you should be checking every instance within your application infrastructure in order to have a full picture of what the actual conditions are for the operation of your application. So, not just checking it from one location, which is very close, but also checking it from a number of proximal locations, maybe out on the network, so that you can detect if there's a condition that is something outside of your data center, but something you might be able to compensate for using means like DNS or edge load balancing.
Right, and doing it on a regular enough basis that you catch it, because if I make a request and the load balancer tries to send it to a machine that, a service that just went down and we didn't catch it, that's gonna delay their response and make it seem like it's, really slow and terrible performance, and then they'll go on Twitter and, oh,
Oh
right,
no.
it'll be horrible.
Right.
So, right, it's not just health checks, but how often you do health checks, but not too often. Right,
That's correct.
you don't wanna overload the service.
That's correct. It's also the quality of the health check, right? Making sure that you're checking more fully for the conditions that the application should respond properly to. A lot of times, a customer will simply, try and see if they can retrieve a web page. But you might actually want to write a health check that stresses some application logic to make sure that the application logic is performing correctly. That gives you insight into the health of the backend that supports the application, which is also equally as important. There's also the concept of potentially understanding application health as a factor of the other conditions that the application is operating under. So writing specific health checks that are embedded into the application that you can use to test those backend systems fully. I'm a firm believer that you can't have too many health checks incorporated into your application.
Go to the doctor right now, right? That's
Exactly.
go.
And it's not. I'm not a hypochondriac or anything like that. But honestly, if the better you instrument your application for understanding the full health, the better you are able to cope with fault tolerance, making sure that you can ride out transient condition with the application, and the better that you can cope with potential cascading issues that are related to load. And failure to design and understand those fault tolerant topologies, that's a huge problem with application delivery.
Right. Yeah, good point. It's not just about the application that's right here, but all of the other services where they are, and understanding that bigger picture and being able to basically strategize about the best way to check, what to check, when to check, and then pulling it all together to make sure that your application is fast and available at the same time.
Right.
We have run out of time.
Mm.
Health check, time's up. So we got to go, but I'm going to have you back again and we're going to talk about one more item on the list and you're going to love what it is. So I'm
Ooh.
not going to tell you until you get back on. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Lori. Always great.